Harold Smith is a contemporary African-American abstract artist who creates jazz art. Smith's artwork demonstrates the color and energy of jazz music. Smith uses jazz as a prism, refracting art, life, history, and current events for themes in his artwork. Smith's art focuses on the jazz experience through personality, representation, diversity, spirituality, and freedom. Through Smith's paintings, he gets inside jazz music, translating the sounds and his sense of fellowship with jazz musicians, such as his uncle, into strokes of brilliant color made from brushes, a knife, and sometimes his fingers. Smith's jazz art is collected nationally and internationally by collectors in the US, Japan, France, Germany, Belgium, Israel, South Africa, Mexico, and South America. Harold Smith's intentions for making his art are expressing desire and connecting the soul of jazz. He connects on multiple levels, integrating music, imagery, and words. The combination of the energy of jazz gives the show an African feeling from the standpoint of European art history, which can be described as a total work of art. Smith's intentions for his artwork is to express the rhythm of jazz while conveying life, historical, and current events by using visual art. Smith once said, "Most of my artwork is inspired by jazz, not just the sounds and personalities of jazz, but by the spirit of energy, diversity, and personal expression within the context of group expression that jazz embodies. To me, this is the spirit of life and love. I see each brushstroke and color as a separate note on the canvas, converging to create a visual symphony of color and energy." His work is characterized by strong emphasis on both obvious and subtle racial overtones. Smith addresses the issues of the contemporary Black urban existence and the empowerment of urban African Americans through negative imagery in the entertainment industry that is used to perpetuate the cycle of Black self-destruction. The reason we chose to analyze Harold Smith's artwork is because he specializes in multiculturalism. This ties in perfectly to what we have been discussing all semester when observing the different types of art from people of all different races and cultures. As you may know, jazz originated from African American communities. Smith, being African American himself, represents this particular part of African American culture through his artwork, which is influenced by jazz culture. Just as we analyzed Middle Eastern artwork by Sharon Nassat, Native American artwork by John Ferdova, and New Quick to See Smith, and Latin American artwork by Frida Kahlo, we can analyze Harold Smith's work and use it as a doorway to understanding his experiences, perspectives, and struggles as an African American. While my group members and I thoroughly enjoyed viewing all of Harold Smith's work, the one that most stood out to us was a painting called Psalms 137. Therefore, I am going to briefly take you through our art critiquing process for this piece. Harold Smith's Psalms 137 depicts an African American man and child with a $5 bill over their mouths and a quote from Abraham Lincoln written on a torn out page from the Bible hanging next to them. The quote says, "I will say then that I am not, nor ever have been in favor of bringing about in any way the social and political equality of the white and black races, that I am not, nor ever have been in favor of making voters or jurors of Negroes." In addition, the background of this painting is a mixed shade of blue, the paint strokes are heavily varied, and the symmetry is flawed, which is consistent with Harold Smith's jazz-influenced painting style. Our initial reaction to the painting was sadness. The deep colored blue, the blank facial expressions of the two males, and the covered mouth all present a feeling of discomfort and despondency. We also felt shock because we weren't expecting to see a quote by the famous President Abraham Lincoln, who was generally depicted in a positive light regarding slavery and black oppression, on a painting that is seemingly negative. In our opinion, it is obvious that this painting deals with black oppression and the corrupt nature of the American dollar. It also works to challenge the ideas that Abraham Lincoln was the black man's savior, when according to the quote, his actions were never truly motivated by a need to end the unjust treatment of African Americans. With that said, we think that the painting is trying to promote the message that African Americans never actually had a savior. Money is the only thing that can really help them by leveling the playing field. However, in order to get it, African Americans must keep their mouths shut in situations of injustice, whether it's ignoring clear displays of racism at work or disregarding evidence of police brutality and other hate crimes. As an additional twist of irony, Smith specifically uses a $5 bill to show that even to this day, good old Abraham Lincoln is not what he seems and is continuing to perpetuate Black oppression. As for the Bible page, we think that Harold Smith chose to write the Lincoln quote on it as well as use it as the inspiration for the title because he wanted to show that just as people tend to blindly believe in the stories told in the Bible, they believe in the heroic tales of Abraham Lincoln without sufficient evidence. To evaluate this painting, we thought it would be best to use the emotionalist theory. This is because Psalms 137 makes you feel deep emotions immediately when you see it. There is almost a sense of anger that is portrayed, and even more so incited in those who personally face injustice and can relate to the message. While the artwork is not technically advanced, its values come from its ability to provoke thought and emotion while offering a unique perspective on Lincoln, the dollar, and the American system as a whole.